Prison Pod Productions brings you Life Without Parole, with the help of our sponsor, Dream.org, and partnership with the Awakening Exchange. Please remember to like and subscribe, on YouTube. Welcome to Life Without Parole.
LWOP Offenders, Young Men Who Are Lost in the Cracks of Redemption, by Keith Erickson. Having spent 35 years of my own life in the California youth and adult prison systems, I've been able to witness a shift in the sentencing of offenders who commit crimes of murder who were under the age of 25 and 26. However, I've also witnessed the contradiction that is and has been obvious when it comes to the same offenders being sentenced to life without the possibility of parole based on special circumstances, taking the life of another human being during the commission of a crime. Despite California legislators recognizing that offenders under the age of 25 and 26 cannot be fully responsible for the consequences of their actions due to underdevelopment in the brain, they have yet to shine a broader light on the same category of offenders whom are basically serving walking death sentences throughout California prisons across the state for the same or similar psychological findings that are already applied to incarcerated and convicted youth. Amritraj Athwal, a young man I've been mentoring for the past 2.5 years, was 21 years of age the day he committed his first-degree murder with the special circumstances of a life being taken during the commission of a crime. Having lost his father at the age of 14 due to suicide, Amritraj began using drugs and drinking alcohol. Before the age of 18, he was addicted to methamphetamines and the criminal lifestyle that entails most users. During the commission of a robbery with a relative much older than himself, Amritraj accidentally discharged a gun that resulted in a ricocheted bullet taking the life of a store employee. He was then sentenced under California's life without the possibility of parole law. Do you think Amritraj accepted the fact that he would eventually die in prison? Today he is an active college student pursuing a degree in psychology so that he can work as a substance abuse counselor someday here in the prison system. He is a mentor in the youth intervention program here at the prison, where at-risk youths are brought into the prison for a day of one-on-one mentorship. And he has become one of the lead canine trainers, dog handlers, in the facility's rescue shelter dog program. I refuse to accept that the road towards redemption cannot be found in prison. What I don't believe is that young men like Amritraj should not be given a second chance. I too was arrested at the age of 22 for taking the life of my mother's abusive boyfriend. Both my mother and I were convicted and sentenced to life, however, with the possibility of parole. As a repeat offender, despite my being under the age of 25, I was sentenced under the California Three Strikes Law and therefore excluded from being sentenced under youth offender statutes. 84 years to life. Initially, my attitude was, why even allow myself to care about anything more if I'm just going to die in prison? Although not sentenced under the LWOP Life Without Parole law, at the age of 22, 84 years to life was in fact meant to keep me from ever walking out into the free world again, despite how much effort I was to put into my rehabilitating myself. As a child, my stepfather abused me on a regular basis, beat my mother and brother, and became a heroin addict by the time I was 11. Eventually, he nearly took my life at the age of 11, and he was sent to prison. Removed from the care of my mother, the county foster system chewed me up and spit me out multiple times before I was sent to the California Youth Authority system at the age of 14. Many would say that I was destined to be where it is that I sit today, based on the pattern of my adolescence. Having a mother that constantly placed me into harm's way was clearly something that didn't go away, even into adulthood, the night she placed a revolver in my hand and urged me to kill her then boyfriend as he lay drunk and passed out in her ranch home. Life without the possibility of parole is a death sentence. And despite lawmakers putting greater emphasis on prison reform, what are they going to do for the young men like Amritraj Athwal who refuse to accept that he is going to grow old and die in prison? What are you going to do as a human being with the power and voice to stand up and speak against unjust sentencing laws? Lives are only wasted when they are not given a second chance at redemption. Help us reach the road towards redemption. Help us pull them out of the cracks. Thank you. That's it.
You have been listening to The Prison Pod, a podcast not just for those in prison but for anyone who has been affected by incarceration. Ms. Valerie would love for you to write to her with your questions, comments, and show ideas. The address is Prison Pod, Post Office Box 294, Orono, Maine. 04473.